Hello, everyone. My name is Cheryl. I'm honored to be here this morning to share my story with you. My personal struggle with homelessness began last summer with the breakup of my 13-year marriage. At the time, I was pregnant with my beautiful daughter, Vera, who is now 15 months old. Before then, I was working with the National Guard in San Bruno for 2 years. When I became pregnant with Vera, my career opportunities in the military disappeared. If my unit was deployed, there would be no one to help care for my daughter. Vera's father had left the country, and I had no family nearby. I had no choice but to leave my job with the National Guard. We struggled to get by while I looked for another job. I used my savings and sold all my possessions, my clothes, furniture, and eventually my car. With no income and no family support, I eventually became homeless with my infant daughter. While I thought about going to a shelter, I was terrified of what I imagined to be a crowded and dangerous environment. Instead, I would call friends and offer to babysit or cook dinner for them in exchange for spending the night on their couch. Other nights, I would stay at the cheapest motel that I could find. We lived this way for 6 months. My breaking point occurred on New Year's Eve, 2010. It was a Friday. Vera and I had been outside all day, from the park to the mall to yet another park. I had no car, no money, and no cell phone. I didn't know where we would sleep that night, or for the whole weekend for that matter. I headed to the emergency room pretending to be sick so that I could rest in the waiting room. I had not slept for days. I was afraid to fall asleep, lest my baby fall out of my arms. The hospital staff gave me a sandwich and a car seat for Vera to sleep comfortably. That night, I realized I needed to seek help. I was referred to an organization called Shelter Network, and from that moment on, our lives would change forever. Within a few hours, Shelter Network staff got us into a warm and safe motel. We stayed there for a week, waiting for an opening at the Shelter Network facility. The staff came by with food and diapers, making sure we were all right. And for the first time in months, I had a good night's sleep. Vera and I moved into Shelter Network's emergency housing in San Mateo. The facility was beautiful, nothing like what I'd imagined. There were children outside laughing and playing, and we were given our own room, and all the staff were incredibly friendly. Every day I searched for jobs and took classes on resume writing and interview skills. After 1 month, we graduated into Shelter Network's transitional apartment in Daly City, where I met my case manager, Jose. I formed a close bond with Jose. He is also a veteran, and his son is currently serving in Afghanistan. Jose recognized my potential and always pushed me to succeed, even when I was discouraged or frustrated. When I first arrived, I was physically and emotionally fragile. I was so stressed that I suffered from panic attacks, but thankfully, Jose was always there to support me. As my confidence improved, I was able to dedicate more time and energy toward regaining employment and permanent housing. I had hope. Jose helped me apply for Shelter Network's Housing Readiness Program, which provides a temporary housing subsidy and the opportunity to enroll in vocational training classes. I was so excited to go back to school. This was my chance for a new career. I knew that I wanted to help people. I told Jose I wanted his job. A sergeant I knew from the National Guard who manages ambulance services inspired me to become an emergency medical technician. He said, EMTs are there when people are at their worst. I knew that was what I wanted, to help people at their worst, just as I was when Shelter Network helped me. I enrolled in EMT classes, and Shelter Network's Grove Foundation scholarship paid for most of the tuition, as if they had not done enough for me already. I am proud to share with you that I did very well in my EMT courses. I was able to shadow the Berkeley Fire Department, an opportunity reserved for the best students. I worked long hours and commuted all over the Bay Area. I traveled all the way to Concord for Vera's childcare, which was the only affordable option that fit my schedule. But Vera and I persevered, and I graduated from the EMT program with a Distinguished Merit Award. I am now attending full-time college classes for an associate's degree in respiratory therapy, on my way to a career as a paramedic. I have other good news. 19 days ago, I took the next step in Shelter Network's program and moved into my own apartment. I'd like to share one last story with you. This summer, for my EMT training, I completed an internship at a hospital in the Tenderloin. One Friday, we were taking vital signs on patients in the ER. One of the nurses said that the homeless always come in on Friday, faking headaches or stomach pains, just looking for somewhere to stay. I realized at once, not too long ago, that was me. With every thump of their heart, I thought that was my heart. And now I have the education and the confidence to help those people. It has been a true honor to share my story with you, friends and donors of Shelter Network. Thanks to you, Shelter Network has literally saved our lives. You have changed my life story, and I will always be deeply, deeply grateful. As an EMT, we are taught to provide words of comfort to patients. We say to them, the worst is over. We are here to help. The truth is, there is no difference between you, the people at Shelter Network, and a paramedic. We are all in the same business of saving lives. On behalf of every person that Shelter Network has saved, people like me, thank you.